What is luxury content marketing in this economy? How do you market your luxury product or service in the luxury market? If you're wondering how you can achieve and answer those questions, then this is the video for you guys. My name is Mona, welcome back to my channel. As you know, I talk a lot about working in luxury fashion and going to amazing London Fashion Week shows over the past 10 years. I have a lot of experience attending events and writing for independent luxury fashion and lifestyle magazines. My background comes from journalism, which eventually translated to magazine journalism. This video is for any fashion brand who is looking to elevate their brand through content marketing and they want to learn more about how you market to specific niche luxury audiences. It doesn't have to be within fashion. You can also replicate this video for other avenues. The video is really about how you can content market to a luxury audience and have clients that are worth your time. So during this video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about three main things which make up the basics of content marketing for a luxury client. Number one, we're gonna be talking about content marketing basics. What is content marketing and how can you approach it? In the second part, we're gonna talk about how luxury brands use content marketing and what content they put out there. And in the third section, I'm going to talk to you guys about some of my favorite content marketing which is out there from luxury brands which are killing it right now. Okay, so first and foremost, we have to figure out what exactly is content marketing, because I think there's lots of definitions out there and people don't really know what it is because we have digital marketing in general, and we don't really understand what content marketing is. So here is the definition according to Forbes for content marketing.
Content marketing is a marketing technique of creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and acquire a clearly defined audience with the objective of driving profitable customer action.
Okay, so what that really means is that you're creating content to market your product on specific platforms. So this could include things like writing blogs on your website, so creating additional content that people can read and engage with your story and your values, indirectly invite them to buy your service or buy your product. And then you can also do this through social media, which is the most common one, I would say. So a lot of people use social media to create content. I'm going to show you some examples later on in the video. There's a lot of fashion brands on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and other platforms who are showcasing their work, and it's not direct sales, it's kind of indirect sales, which again I'll talk about a little bit in the later part of the video. And it could be things like YouTube. For example, I'm making this YouTube video to put onto my channel so I can attract more clients for consultation and more fashion brands who I can work with and elevate their content. And that pretty much sums up what content marketing is basically on YouTube. So a lot of YouTubers do that. If you watch until the end, I'll show you towards the third section, I'll show you some of my favorite examples. You could also do things like articles. Again, if you watch until the end, until the second part, I will show you a specific example talking about your product and services or your story. Okay, so I've given you the basics in terms of what you can put out there. For example, blogs, articles, website content, things like that. But there are other extensive things which you can do in today's media landscape, which is things like doing a podcast or writing a book. So I know that lots of coaches, usually like mentors and coaches, they usually write books with information, facts, and lots of science in terms of how you can rewire your brain, how you can be more disciplined. And there's lots of people out there, lots of individuals out there who are doing this, and they feel like their brand and market position becomes better with doing podcasts or with writing books and publishing books. That is still possible. So if you are a luxury brand, you can actually write about your story, or you could also think about doing an extension through speaking to other luxury brands, content marketers, luxury marketers, and have a podcast where you talk about what it's like to be working within a luxury market, how it's changing. You can talk about news and things like that. And in terms of books and stuff, you can actually always, you can publish how you market your products and services to specific niche, to specific countries. China is really good with luxury. I know Southeast Asia is really good with luxury. Their luxury markets are booming. And so you could write about that if you have clients within that sector. What it does is it actually gives your brand and you as a person more value. So the reason why you actually do content marketing is to give your brand more value, and we'll talk about it in the next section. But I really just want to touch upon the fact that these additional things that you do, like social media, podcasts, books, things like that, articles, they position you as a leader in your industry, kind of puts you ahead of a lot of the other competition. You have additional things to show besides just your product or service. Also brings in a wider audience. You just position yourself as an industry leader. I actually touched upon this before, but I'm just gonna reiterate this again. For those of you who are wondering why do content marketing, there's gonna be three main reasons as to why a brand or a luxury fashion brand would do content marketing. The first one is, as I mentioned before, is so you want to add value to your brand. Specifically for luxury fashion brands, most of the time they focus on craftsmanship, artisans, their story, how long they've been there, and the reason why they started the brand in the first place. Now, the second reason is bringing awareness to your brand. But in order to grow your brand awareness, you may want to go through the content marketing route to get a wider audience and eventually have people buy your products or services. It leads us to the third point, which is eventually you want customers to take action. So your content marketing is getting people to take action, whether online or it's in person. You want them to buy your services and your products. Now that we know a little bit more about what is content marketing, what are the basics of it, what type of content marketing can you do, and what type of content marketing luxury fashion brands prefer, and what's their angle, what kind of content they create. So content marketing for a luxury fashion brand really comes from writing their story. So whereas a normal brand would basically just showcase their work, give a little bit of information about the founder, a true luxury brand will talk about how long they've been there. So Hermes does this perfectly. So I'm just going to give you an example because Hermes is a really good example for this. So as you can see on the website, the words that are used are really different. So they use words like craftsmanship, tell you the date that they've been in production since, and they talk about the heritage, they talk about the artisans, and it's really just about the story. And people are buying into a world. It's not buying a piece of products, it's buying the story. Consumers feel like they're part of something, and something exclusive, and something that's been there for a really long time. So words like heritage are used and things like that. And it's very different to a different designer who does have the luxury prices, but we wouldn't really see it as luxury until we have attached a story and some sort of tradition and heritage to it. That leads into one of the main points, is that luxury fashion brands, they lean into promoting other areas. They don't actually promote the services or the products. So if you look at the social media pages for Hermes, they have a lot of artistic pictures, and nothing really tells you that you're actually meant to buy a bag. It's really just all about creativity and bringing craftsmanship together. They talk about how they make the bags, the people behind the bags, images of horses because that's related to their brand, but they don't actually directly promote and get you to buy the actual bag online or on their website. It's only for people who actually know that they want to buy it. It's not very salesy, and that's the difference between a common brand and a luxury brand, is that a luxury brand is selling you a lifestyle, whereas a common brand is selling you a product or a service. So another example I'll give you is a company that I worked for. It's called Fashion Compassion. I did an internship with them, and it was actually a really good experience. So the website actually is an online luxury boutique, and what we did was we actually carried bags and clutches and accessories from different designers from around the world. We sold them through the website. The way that we marketed all the products was through the stories of the artisans. So we wrote about lots of really cool stories in terms of how the bags were made, what the positive impact of your purchase is going to be. So for example, there was a partnership with the company and UN, so every bag that you bought, we would buy a couple of pencils for a girl who needed them for her education in underdeveloped countries. And then also the brands that sold their bags used the profits to build artisan communities, keep those communities alive. Then that would then go into the community and it would build their community, which is such a great way to make use of your profit. And I think a lot of people want to buy into that because a lot of people feel good about buying the bags because they know that the profits and the money that they're giving is going to be put in good use. And so that is true luxury, especially in this economy. True luxury is really all about sustainability and building communities and kind of not using bags or products as in excess and kind of going away from consumerism. That really just is the definition of luxury in today's modern world. Okay, we talked a little bit about it earlier in the section, but I'm just going to go over some of the words that are used. So this is really important. So if you are a brand who are looking to elevate your brand and move into a luxury market, you might want to use suggestive words. Now, suggestive words are basically suggestions, and they're not exact actions. They're basically words which guide your target audience to actually make that purchase. So I'm going to give you an example. It's not going to be in luxury, it's mostly in travel. So I worked for Investor Media for a couple of months and I wrote a couple of articles for them. And this one is a really good example with suggestive words. I did an article about traveling the south of France for summer, writing an itinerary and suggesting things. What you want to do is you want to give suggestions. You want them to think that the idea is theirs. You could travel via car to one city to the other, or you could charter a yacht from one place to another place, and that also works. And I think the more suggestions that you give, it kind of gives the readers and your target audience options which they prefer, and they can just pick whichever option they like. There are numerous brands right now out there which are talking about sustainability and it's part of their brand. If you go onto Gigi Hadid's website, Guest in Residence, she talks about sustainability and she talks about other partnerships as well. There's some really great brands out there that are doing great stuff, and if you look and identify what luxury brands are doing and luxury fashion brands are doing, it's really all about talking about the story and the heritage and the conception of the idea, because people are buying into that lifestyle. Okay, so we've come to the end of the video and I hope that this video has brought some value and it's helped you. If it has and you feel that you want to know more about it and you are a new brand, I will link a video up here somewhere. It's either here or here. I will link it for you guys and you can watch how I've been writing a business plan, and this is based off of some courses that I've done in the past couple of weeks, and also reading books like Alex Hormozi and Noah Kagan's 100 Million Leads. So I've done all the work for you guys and you guys can just watch the video and see how I've used their ideas and tactics to create a business plan. So if you guys are a startup or a new fashion brand, make use of that video. If you guys are a new fashion brand or you're established, or if you want any content marketing specifically within the fashion and creative sector, you can always contact me using the email linked down below, and I'm happy to do a 30-minute free consultation for you guys. So get in touch and I will see you next week.